Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. And as usual, I have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to jump straight into it with my good friend, Paul Carroll. He's with Efficient Wealth Management. That's efficientwealthmanagement.com, a very unique boutique firm. And I love it. I love your elevator speech, Paul. It's very eloquent. It's almost poetic. What you put together, but I think it summarizes very well the work of your firm. Why don't you tell us about your firm?
Well, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
What we do here is we make work optional. That's about as short an elevator speech as you can get.
Yeah, I like the other one better.
We help our clients, working with a team of experts and using a consultative approach, we help our clients not only protect their wealth, but take care of their heirs, mitigate their taxes, ensure their assets not unjustly taken, and leverage the impact of charitable giving if that's important to them. And, of course, with the growth that's going on, we've been very busy, so we're trying to limit the practice to those individuals for whom we can really have a meaningful impact.
Absolutely, and you do a great job doing just that. Tell us about, the history of the firm. I like it when, usually we get you on, you have a great guest on. I always enjoy that, but we're getting some one-on-one time today, so I'm going to kind of take advantage of that. Tell us about your story, your personal story. I think is phenomenal.
Sure. Well, Kevin, I don't know if I told you the whole story. In fact, I need to get you a copy of the book we just finished. I came to the United States in the fall of 1979 with $200 and a toothbrush. I arrived on a bright orange Braniff jumbo jet. I was 17 years old, and I had no idea what I was doing. But before long, I landed on my feet, found myself in the United States Air Force, enlisted, working my way through school at night. At about the same time that I completed my tour of duty, which was a great success, I graduated from the University of Maryland, summa cum laude. Thus, I was a young man in a strange land, and I really didn't know what to do, so I did the logical next step. I went to graduate school, and that's where I got my master's in finance at Texas A&M University. Texas A&M was not my first choice, but it was my best choice, and I'm so glad that I made the call to go to school there. They recruited me quite actively. I got my master's in finance, which was wonderful because that's something I wanted to do. Since I'd seen my grandfather help people with their finances and their wealth, this is something that was a real mission for me. When I got out of Texas A&M, I actually found myself at a firm called Smith Barney. Now, we're all familiar with their ads from the 80s, sitting in the lounge chair, we make money the old-fashioned way. But, of course, Smith Barney got gobbled up by bigger and bigger companies, and my experience there probably was not what I expected. Now, if you've seen the movie In Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, you know that back in those days they'd put you in this training program for 6 months, came out the back end with the Series 7. Not everyone survived it. Well, I completed that, got my 95, had my master's, got everything, and as my reward, they gave me a black phone and a phone book and said, "Have at it, young man." They call that dialing for dollars, and it really wasn't what I had in mind. So after about a year of this and some soul searching, I decided I was going to do something different, and I chose, of all things, because I'm young and bulletproof, to go learn how to fly jets for a living. So my next step in life was going through about a series of 8 jobs, working my way through to captain of what was then Continental Airlines. And that seemed great. I mean, it was a much longer haul than I ever expected it to be, thank goodness. Many things in life, thank goodness, that you don't have hindsight when you start. But come 9/11, of course, that was a bad day for America. That was a devastating day for the airlines. After September 11, I received a furlough letter from Continental Airlines. And that letter, Kevin, that letter changed my life. Because I decided there and then that I wasn't going to cry about it, I was going to do something. And after quite some time of thinking, I settled on the idea of creating a wealth management practice. And it took some time because my memory of financial planning was really selling junk. I didn't want to do that. So at the prompting of some friends and respected mentors, I put together a model that was predicated on the notion of putting clients first. It was going to be consultative, working along the law firm or CPA firm lines, and with a growth model based on referral business only, fee-only fiduciary firm. Of course, now we're in an office that I own, and we're moving to a larger, even better facility in just 3 months. This has been a great success. It's been a great success financially for the firm, but most of all, I'm moved by the fact that these people that we've been able to help, we have changed their life. They've become good, lifelong friends of mine, and we will continue to add value to the people we have both with us in the fold and those that join us in the future.
Yeah, what a great story. I love it. Absolutely love it. And tell me a little bit about what differentiates you from other firms out there. What is your approach to investing?
Well, that's a great question, because really, what's the difference in a wealth management, a financial planner, a stockbroker, an investment manager, an asset manager? I mean, these words all seem to sort of blend together, and we don't really know what the difference is. At Efficient Wealth Management, we went out of our way to identify and describe wealth management as investment consulting plus advanced planning plus expert relationship management. And the true differentiator is the advanced planning. Everyone has an investment consulting solution, and of course some are better than others. When we talk to our clients, we find that their number one concern is protecting their wealth. But the real value is in the advanced planning. And there was an article in the Wall Street Journal a few years back that noted less than 7% of what investment consultants or professionals really go beyond simplistic asset management. So advanced planning, as we describe it, is exactly my elevator speech. We've broken it down into wealth enhancement, which is mitigating taxes, wealth transfer, which is taking care of your heirs, wealth protection, making sure your assets are not unjustly taken, and charitable planning, which is leveraging the impact of charitable giving. And of course, I can't be an expert in all 4 areas. So what we've done is we've actually created an expert team that we convene about every 2 months. These are other experts, a state attorney, insurance specialist, CPA, very, very highly skilled, well-regarded in their profession, who meet with me every couple months, and we do a case study on our clients. And we get the recommendations from this expert team and present them to the client on an ongoing basis, preferably in bite-sized chunks.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let me ask you about the dynamics of being in your role today versus just even a few years ago. It seems to me, as someone who, I'm closer than most when it comes to this stuff, just because I get to interview people like you. But obviously, I'm not in the trenches like you are. But it seems to me that these times, when it comes to people and their money, are becoming only more dicey as we go along, thanks to government action and other things. Talk a little bit about that.
This is actually one of the most difficult challenge periods I've ever been in my entire career, and since I was at Texas A&M. This is a difficult time for retirees. The baby boomers are approaching retirement. They have greater longevity than they've ever had before. They're risk averse because they know, well, you're retired. You can't go back and earn it again. And yet those conservative investments that are out there pay next to nothing. There are 3 choices. You can go get bonds and earn about what inflation is before taxes. You're losing ground from day one. You can go out buy equities, and you now have to manage and stomach volatility you may not be comfortable with, but it is the only game in town with long-term returns. Or you can go the third way, and this is not a way we recommend. You can go get an insurance product where they promise you mitigated downside, but basically you're going to get extremely limited upside as the price you pay for that. It doesn't matter what way you go. Anyone that tells you that there's a silver bullet out there is lying. There isn't. It's a difficult time. And I've actually not got business because I've told clients the truth. You want to go shop for what you want to hear, have fun, have at it. This is just not an easy time to invest. The best advice from many people is plan on working longer. I hate to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And so, how do you feel like your company is different than others in helping in these areas?
Well, that's a great question. You know, as said, I'm going to get you a copy of the book, Kevin. But one thing that we really excel at is what we call advanced cash management, and that is using protocols and knowledge and behavioral finance to make a portfolio not only sustainable over time with these mitigated returns, but also to manage the psychology of how do you take the money out? How do you take it out in a tax-efficient manner? How do you do it so that, from the client's point of view, it's really just a direct deposit of a monthly check? They may want to know the mechanics at some point. I mean, we like transparency. But in the end, what they want is a check through retirement. And so advanced cash management is something we've got very good at. It takes time, it takes resources, and I think a lot of companies prefer not to do that. But that's certainly something we've spent a lot of time with our clients.
Great discussion, great topic. Glad the listeners getting an opportunity to learn more about you and Efficient Wealth Management, which they can get even more information at efficientwealthmanagement.com. Want to wrap it up with your final thoughts. Here we are already in the middle of the first quarter. Time goes fast. Your thoughts about 2015 when it comes to investing as we wrap up this segment.
2015 is a very interesting year. The market's been on a rally for 5 years. Everything comes to an end. I'm not a market timer. I don't know when, but I do know the odds aren't good that these returns of the last 5 years will concern. Does that mean a dash to cash? No. Rebalance, stick with the plan. One last thing with the energy industry being impacted so significantly, we have a website now, energywebinar.com. We're going to be having a webinar for the energy industry on March the 17th. If anybody is interested in participating in that, they can go to energywebinar.com, and that'll give them a registration point where they can join that free webinar that really talks about the challenges facing people in the energy industry, especially those people approaching retirement.
Very good. Paul Carroll, learn more about him as well at efficientwealthmanagement.com. Look forward to having you on again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So we want to encourage the listener to get more information by checking out efficientwealthmanagement.com. The best information, including this interview, can be found over there at usdailyreview.com. And you're listening to The Price of Business.